One of the main keys to enlightenment, it's very simple: know thyself. And so, what does it really mean to know thyself? Not only does it mean to understand your physical apparatus, the person that you are in the physical sense, right? The physical character that you have, but it's understanding you on the soul level and the desire to understand yourself on the soul level. This could mean past incarnations, one to tap in where you came from in past incarnations. Could also mean what are the challenges that you've had in this lifetime and understanding how it's piecing together your soul expression and how to evolve from that and then understanding your purpose moving forward. That's knowing the self. It isn't about, oh, my character of Scott Cruz likes this food or likes this music, and it isn't about those physical parameters. It's about the interaction that the soul is having in this physical world. That's knowing thyself and understanding what the self wants to grow into and how it wants to express itself. What that does when you know thyself is it broadens your perspective of life. And when you broaden your perspective in life, I call that intuition. Because intuition is when you broaden perspective, you can see things more in a fifth dimensional aspect. Okay? And next key to enlightenment, when you know thyself, is you understand karma. Karma is just memory of lessons or unlearned lessons. And so we have a lot of karmic patterns that we are continuing from our previous incarnations that are either resolved or unresolved. And so a lot of those unresolved karmas are manifesting through circumstances early on in one's life or continuation through that aspect of life too. And so part of like really enlightening ourselves is to understand that karmic pattern that we have and understand where we're resolving our karma and how we need to move on and grow from that karmic experiences. Many people are trying to like create things in their life or manifest things in their life and have unresolved karma, and that's the block. You're not doing anything wrong. You're just not recognizing that you're not learning from karma. You're not resolving karma. So when you identify your karmic pattern, your karmic path, boom, you've enlightened yourself to not only knowing more of thyself, but also how you fit in this world. That leads to my next key of enlightenment is understanding everything in this world is duality. It has a duality to it. There's a yin and a yang. Okay. And what we define good or bad, good or evil, positive or negative, there's a spectrum of duality, and there need to be a spectrum of duality in this reality. And so when you become more aware and the acceptance of the duality and the spectrum of such, and you limit yourself from being judgmental of the positive or the negative or the good and the evil, the left and the right, the black and the white, you understand there's extreme in that duality, but also a spectrum of such. But you understand everything in this reality functions in duality. You become more enlightened into the mechanics actually of the world that you're in, but also how you're functioning in this reality and how to manipulate this reality to get what you want because of understanding the duality and acceptance of duality. And another key to enlightenment coming from duality is understanding all is one. You know, we're one mechanism in a sense, a collective, and we're all each part of this collective energy, which we can call the human species on planet Earth, but we're all bound to the same laws and principles. And we're all, bound to what's happening in our world based on the collective evolution or lack of. And so as much as we can live our individual lives, we're still under this umbrella of the collective evolution. And so we understand how we can play a role in this collective energy because all is one and all is connected. Then we can actually allow ourselves to find our soul purpose and also make a big change within the collective, because our soul purpose always has to be in alignment to broadening and enhancing the collective as well. And that's where you're in sync. And the last one, like I said before, is all is connected. Everything's connected. That's why people utilize the law of attraction in a sense to say you're attracting things. It's not so much you're attracting things, you're aligning with things. You're finding things that resonate with your same intellect, your same energy. That's what we are actually doing. And we're encoding and decoding reality based on our perception, based on our awareness and observations. So if you're choosing to see something a certain way, you're going to see other people who see things that way too. And thus you'll think you're attracting things, but it's not that. You're just connecting with that spectrum of energy. And so everything is connected. And so everything affects each other in a certain way, both in a positive sense and a negative sense. And so your energy is part of this big mechanism. So when you change and heal your energy, that becomes infectious to everyone around you. You become vibrant. And when you become vibrant in your life, it does inspire others to become more vibrant, thus healing portions of our species. We have to understand that even though you're not directly helping things that you think need help, by living in your truth and living in your essence, it becomes very vibrant and infectious, and others do the same, and that spreads like wildfire. And all these things of enlightenment brings the 5D perspective, the 5D awareness. And so we hear all the time about the 5D earth, and I would say 5D just means it's a perspective. It's an awareness. You've broadened your perspective to understand that things aren't just 2D, 3D. You can see why things are happening. You understand there really isn't anything about good and evil, right? It's all about perspective, karmic lessons, karmic journeys. And so the evil we define as very dense energy, right? When you come in 5D, you will understand why those denser experiences exist and why they need to exist, as well as the other side of the spectrum of the lightest of light, the lovest of love, that we define that to be. But the 5D perspective understands why things happen, and you can accept it. You live in pure acceptance. To be in the state of love is to be in acceptance and to be in understanding of why things occur and why things are happening, and the desire to want to nurture. And nurturing doesn't mean you coddle. Nurture means you want to grow and expand, and also help others to grow and expand as well, understanding where they're at and why they're in the spaces that they're in. But we have to also understand those who are being victims of such treacherous things have karmic experiences and karmic patterns from their previous incarnations as well that puts them in those situations to experience such things. And I like to pose the question to people, if, Hitler was to be reincarnated and to be abused, y'all would see it a little differently than such. And, oh, poor kid, or poor person. Like, oh, well, that was Hitler reincarnated and being abused in this lifetime and being tortured. Oh, good for him. Y'all will change your tone. So the same thing when it comes to, looking at other aspects of our world and why things are happening. Please remember, there are karmic patterns and experiences that create those dense experiences, good experiences, bad experiences, that you just don't know the story. But this is what 5D perspective really is. You can see all those things. You can see those connections. You can see the dynamics as such and the results of why things are the way they are. And you become an accepting of it. And you don't try to change the world. You try to change yourself, to evolve yourself enough to affect the world. Big difference.